Our beautiful country.
Absolutely spectacular countryside, spectacular places to go rallying, spectacular rally cars. Yeah, what more could you want?
Could be the Camerons, isn't it? I'm feeling.
It does have that look about it, yeah. So into our classic field. Have we got a solution on getting it on Facebook then?
It said it's on.
Maybe stop and start again, mate.
It's on now. It's on. I'm seeing it on Facebook.
Okay, so if you've just joined us, apologies on a little bit of issues getting the stream to Facebook, but we are here for the Classic Field, so apologies to the Classic four-wheel drive team. You can check that out on YouTube once this live stream is done. But Mike and Helen Cameron back again for another crack. Of course, Helen, the defending co-drivers champion in the historic championship.
How cool is that? Yeah, welcome to our Facebook followers, Dylan Turner and Blair, obviously, and welcome to the New Zealand Rally Championship, supported by Brian Green and, of course, all our other sponsors. We've had a few technical difficulties, like a couple of the drivers, I believe. In the stages, there's been a couple of technical difficulties, which we'll run through shortly.
Has there what? Yeah, as you say, a massive thank you before we start to Brian Green Property Group, MRF Tyres, Omega Rental Cars, Cream Insurance, Elevate Digital Assist, all the people that allow.
Hang on, we've got a Turner Apex. That is not how you do an Apex, and I don't want to hear any.
That's a tricky corner though. Fast approach.
A couple of little brows. So whether he's just pushing or whether it's cold tyres. So, you know, that first couple of Ks of a rally, you are struggling with the front end of your car. It does take a bit of time to get the heat in. It's a little bit cold here at the moment.
Yeah, so we're, according to the watch, 10 degrees. Sort of clearing. Gets a little bit chilly when the cloud goes behind the sun. But also, you know, straight out of the service park. So
yes.
Bolt a fresh set of MRFs on the front as we see Pat Norris.
Yeah, he comes Pat in the Priority Motorsport car.
Yeah, Kevin Cook on the notes there, and another one that's running in that historic championship this year.
Beautiful looking car.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very well presented. Fresh build and a lot of work to get it here on time. So yeah, we're not far from the service park. You know, you bolt fresh set of MRFs on. Hard to get that. You know, it's only a very short touring stage as well, Dylan. So not a heap of opportunity to get heat in the tyres, and then we're not very far into, only a couple of kilometres into the stage.
Yeah, and you can warm your tyres up quite well on tarmac. Obviously, you can do it through big heavy brakes, but yeah, not a little bit more difficult as you're going into the stage, and not a very long touring stage. So definitely cold tyres will come into play, and you will see that with the top boys as well. That right-hander, I think you'll see a few missing that Apex.
Yes, we see Ed Mulligan, the Australian cobber.
And the BMW.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, look at that another one that's white. I'm feeling better about my rally now.
I tell you what, if this was a drinking game, she'd be we'd be on the floor by half time.
Sorry. The corner that we're on there is a double Apex, so it tightens up at the first part of the corner and then it opens out, which gives you a good flow into that following corner, which is probably about a 5 right. I can explain those corners for you another time, but you can see she sweeps her way up the hill. Dust definitely not going to be a problem today. We've got a good little breeze and it's blowing that dust away pretty quickly.
Yeah, and quite an interesting surface too, isn't it? It's quite sandy on top. We had a good look at it before the stage went live, and Dylan nearly lost the keys to the Omega rental car in the road there.
Well, he throws me the keys and he hasn't got a key anymore.
Remote key.
Little remote thing. Wasted another missed Apex. Crikey.
Yes.
These guys are paying for all of the road and they're using all of the road. So.
Another Australian visitor, that's Michael Ward, Pete Helwig, co-driving. Little TE37 Corolla, bit of a rare beastie now, aren't they?
Yeah, beautiful little cars. It's good to see so many internationals coming down here. Of course, it's such a bucket list rally for a lot of people.
Yeah, so well regarded internationally. It's yeah, it's a fantastic event that these guys, the Otago Sports Car Club, put on, and yeah, great way to kick off that Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship every year.
It is, and it is one of the best organised rallies. I remember the first year I did it, I was blown away with the organisation skills. It was just starting from the, from the information that you receive.
Yeah, so I think this could well be Louis King, who we saw. He actually had a rollover at Spectator Junction in Special Stage 2. It's a Filipino driver, but they've got it going. Of course, the classic four-wheel drives have already been through, but by the time he got dragged out...
Yeah, he didn't do too much damage. You can see a broken windscreen there, but you can deal with that. I tell you, for a rollover, I'd be proud of that.
Yeah, exactly.
He must have missed everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
These drone shots, we're not in one at the moment. Oh, there we go right now. But, I mean, they're fantastic. It's great to have the drone on board this year. And, of course, we are looking for a sponsor
level
for
is
our
low.
drone, aren't we, BB? And our
Aircraft
replays.
will return to the home point
done a
in 10
replay
seconds.
Yet.
Can you tell we brought the salesman along, Dylan Turner?
Oh, heck, sorry, we're here. Well, I'd like to get paid for a start. So. Someone put their hand up and sponsor the drone. He's got a Turner Motorsport cap on.
Absolutely.
That's how much money we threw at it.
Currently, we're here at a very spacious two-seat front of the van. Flows nicely onto a natural ensuite that the Otago countryside sort of really allows us, as we see Jilly Fisher and Kylie Cotton.
Little Corolla.
Yeah.
I've lifted it closer to my mouth.
So we see Jilly, I think this is her first visit as a driver to Otago, quite often seen co-driving with her husband Adam, although we'll see Adam later on the field in a Toyota Altezza with his dad co-driving. So, lads and dads, how good, eh?
Yeah, it's a great family sport, and that's what I love about motorsport. I mean, we always used to have the whole family rallying with us. I was pretty lucky. My boys are cool. One would sit at home on the keyboard. I mean, I could call it the Bailey drone, but it kind of like doesn't have.
Yeah, absolutely. Toyota Celica. So, of course, the big news in the Hayden Paddon off the road in special stage number 1.
Oh, and that was actually heart-wrenching, wasn't it? I mean, we all wanted to see how he was going to go against Meeke, and there was a few sweeps going on either way.
Yeah, so this is Josh Hilton, the Toyota TA64 twin-cam turbo, another one of the Group B cars, just a replica of, but...
Gee, a late break there, wasn't it? And you can see that Crest, nice and wide, fishtailing it down the road.
Yeah, the big turbo lag, these cars, infamous for that, and light switch-like power.
What a cool car. Coming into our corner now. So we're staged right here pretty much in the background. Beautifully done. Nice and good power on the exit.
You try and get that...
And here's our drone shot. So you can see him go up the road, and if he pans out a little bit, you can just see how zig and zag that road is. It's not a typical Otago road. I mean, Otago road's normally really, really cresty. You can see a crest there. So this next right-hander, that's a blind entry. So you don't really know what the road's doing on the other side.
Yeah, but lots of room to move on these Otago roads, isn't there? Yeah. Nice wide roads. This is probably so, some of them a little bit faster, as we see the V8 Avenger, Dave Thompson. Of course, the ex-Mark Lawton car. And Tomo's had a fair few cool cars in his time as well over the years.
He definitely has. He's not a fan of the Apex as well, like most of them we've seen so far. It's obviously a tricky corner there.
And just listen to the big V8.
Beautiful sound. Oh, that's lovely. And of course, feel free to drop any comments if you've got something that you want to talk about on the live stream. If you've got some questions for us, feel free to send some comments through. We've got a lot of cars to go through this morning, so there will be little times for fill-ins. Happy to answer any questions. Don't forget, please pop a little like on that left-hand like button, because that's how we're going to get more followers.
Absolutely. Our social media influencer, Dylan Turner himself.
Yeah, I've got 6 followers now, so I've doubled it since last live stream, so thanks so much for all the marketing that you did.
This is Steve Sims and Abby Sims over from Tasmania.
That's a nice corner. Nearly in the apex, pretty close. Swinging it around, look at him go.
Absolutely. Simsy, the man behind Rally Safe, the fantastic system we use for safety, timing and tracking and all those sorts of things. Big family business now that's really used as high as the World Rally Championship.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's revolutionised rallying, it really has. You know, we don't need the same amount of marshals and officials to help us now with Rally Safe, and of course, if you crash, you know that people are going to be on the scene real quick.
Yeah. You've tested that out, Dylan?
Just a couple of times, BB. Let's not go into my crashes. We've only got 90 cars.
Speaking of crashes, so one car that we should see next would have been Kyle Percival, of course, the youngster competing in the Rally Challenge two-wheel drive class. Unfortunately, he was off the road in Special Stage 1, Tricky Junction. So he has retired for the day. So this is Graham Simons in the Toyota AE86.
And yeah, he's just coming over that crest now.
It's another Australian visitor, I think, with Anthony Steltari.
Every so often you can see our drone zipping past. Yeah. Like I said, I'd like to call it the Bailey's drone, but but they're not paying us any money.
Yeah, exactly. So just if you're new to the Otago Rally 2, a little bit of a different format in terms of the seating. So we had the four-wheel drive classic cars at the start of the field. They were Scott O'Donnell now in the Mazda RX-3.
He's coming in beautifully. Look at that nice line, nice and wide. You can see the MRFs as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit of understeer.
A little bit of understeer there. So this, of course, a replica of the Rod Millen livery back from 1977. The Motorguard
cars, wasn't it?
Well, first winner of the New Zealand Rally Championship way back in 1977.
Holy smoke, there you go.
Gold Star was awarded just after your 12th birthday there, Dylan.
Yeah, whatever, BB.
So yeah, the classics then run slowest to fastest. So these guys will get quicker and quicker and quicker when we get down to Chris Meeke, the top seed, but Dean Buist has been right on his heels, so he's really thrown himself into that battle. There was a lot of talk, about how far up the road would the Paddon Meeke battle be. That's sort of not come to a lot, but Dean Buist and Ari Pettigrew are certainly holding up the local
definitely
flag.
Hanging in there, and we would call them locals, I guess, wouldn't we?
We'll claim
They're
them.
pretty close by. Yeah, of course we'll claim them, mate. We'll claim you. I'm pretty sure Meek's a Kiwi, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Grew up
especially now Hayden's out.
So this is Reese Musson, so we've missed a couple through here. We'll try
Gee, that was wide,
sideways.
beautiful. You don't know it, but there's a bit of a drop on that right-hand side that he was tinkering with.
Yeah, if you go over the fence, and some fairly solid rocks.
It's a very solid rock to start with. And here's our late apex, so he's in tight, nice, and then he'll let it, and you can just hear he's flat on the way out. It's a really long corner. The camera shots don't do it justice. We'll get some drone shots of that one later, but now he's heading up the hill. Looking nice and tidy after that little understeer fright.
It's a beautifully presented car too, isn't it? The little A86.
Yeah, it's very nice. Yep, nice colour scheme.
So not quite sure why we haven't seen Paul Fraser. He was through the first couple of stages, as far as I'm aware. Of course, the fantastic results service that we do get from Chris Sport.
That drone shot was just next level. Just shows the beautiful countryside that we're very, very privileged to rally in.
Oh, absolutely. As we
see, that's wide as well.
Chris Lang, former competitor in the New Zealand Rally Championship, going back in the Fiestas.
Man, he was wagging the tail of that dog, wasn't he? That was well wide.
And Anna Robinson co-driving for Chris, of course, the daughter of the late great Barry Robinson.
Oh, there you go.
Who would probably The family being in an Escort, of course, very much known for his exploits in the Chevette
Right.
and Vauxhalls, but
Turned in a little early there, didn't he? But what a beautifully prepared car as well. And one thing I always remember, my first Otago rally that I did back in the day, so many Escorts down here, and of course it probably does attract the best Escort field of any rally that I've ever been to.
yeah, exactly. That car, the 2-litre single cam, I believe. We get into the BDAs as well with the 2-litre twin cams and a couple of whole bays, which is sort of a similar equivalent.
And here's the next most popular car, is a Starlet.
Absolutely.
Great car,
Such
great first car.
Josh Silcock, Donna Elder.
That's good. Look at the speed that he carried out of there. That was a great line. Get out of an Apex.
Yep.
Not that I know. But so the myth tells me.
The little 1300 Starlet, and Josh is certainly one of those guys that a lot of people have got their eye on. And you can see why he's carrying a lot of speed, getting a lot. 1300 Starlet, it's not really the weapon of choice.
No, but they just don't.
I think I can. I think
Yeah.
But you know, they're a fantastic way to learn because you don't have the power. So if you make a mistake and you kill the momentum,
Yes.
yeah, and it teaches you to carry that speed. And then if you get into you know, a 4-wheel drive turbo car or something like that,
Yeah.
you have that instilled sort of driving style.
Exactly. It would have to be the modern day. Oh gosh, that was wide. It would have to be the modern day Escort. But anyway, back live.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is Paul Cross, Janie Blair, running in the open 2-wheel drive class.
Not to make a pun, but he got it all crossed up on that exit, didn't he? Oh, smoke.
So you used to seeing Crossy in the H6 Impreza.
Oh,
He's sold that now, and in the little AE86. Dylan's busy watching himself.
Sorry, I just thought it's quite a delay, isn't there? It's quite a delay from where we are. Oh, there's fantastic drone shots.
No,
Look
it's
at that
live,
again.
mate, live.
Well, I know it's live for us. Well, see, turned it a little bit
Yeah, he
early
did,
there, got
didn't
a
he?
little wobble on.
If you guys can stop Jimmy here as well, just because we've got going to keep running out.
So that's Neil Dodds in the Ford Escort. On green doing a bit of work. Very well presented car, the grey, something a bit different.
Yeah, nice.
Not too bad at
well,
all.
You got to. So, yes. Right. Holy smoke, that's good speed. Carried fantastic speed, just a little lift.
So Neil at scrutineering yesterday. It was the first time he'd driven it past second gear.
Oh, there you go.
On the way to scrutineering, he said a lot of the Escorts, the traditional ZF gearbox has what they call a dog leg first, so reverse is far left and up, and then first is far left and down, and that means your second, third are in one gate and fourth and fifth in the other.
Yeah.
So just a little bit standard from your different
Gearboxes.
different gearboxes, but lovely to use once you're up and running. So just a little bit of getting used to things.
First Rotary in the morning.
Well, no, we had the RX3, but this is the RX7. This is
Right.
Wayne Muckle, another
Beautiful. And
another
white.
man we've seen in the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship, and he's got quite the collection of cars, does Wayne?
He does.
And he's certainly not shy of this
No,
one.
he's looking nice and fast.
Of course. So question on who bought the Paul Cross H6. Believe that's gone to the Keeley stable. So they've got 3 of them now. Of course, Josh and Amy in the H6s.
We were talking obviously about the H6s being a lovely class and a real competitive sort of rally car, and yeah, I mean that's for our non-YouTubers. Apparently we were live on YouTube before we were live on Facebook, so apologies for that, everyone.
Yeah, but if you do want to go back and see sort of half that, so it was Mark Parsons asking that questions, and he's
little
driven a
Starlet.
couple of them as well.
He has.
Yeah, so this is Harry Silcock. So we've seen Josh, the younger brothers. It's Harry, the older brother, and who we won't be seeing this weekend is John Dad, who's probably nervously chewing his fingernails off in the...
Watching the live stream?
Yeah, I'd
Must
say...
be.
Yeah, surely. G'day, John. Hopefully you've got something in your fingers left. So this car has had the 1600 fitted, so a bit more grunt.
A little bit more grunt, definitely. And like I say, the Starlet, modern day Escort in my opinion. Rip a little car.
Yeah, it's interesting having a chat with Dave Strong about Starlets and Escorts. Of course, the Starlet a lot more production based in the Group A era, without getting too technical on it.
Yeah.
But very different kettle of fish, but similar. Similar sort of. Well, the Starlets were really the giant killers, weren't they?
Oh,
the
they
hands
were.
of Paul Adams.
Yeah. For such a little car, they're just a great platform. Obviously, the width of the ride and the length of it is obviously just perfectly suited for rallying.
Just trying to figure out, because this one's a little bit out of order. This will be Rory Lawn. Rory Lawn. So another of the 1600 Starlets. You talk about them having just the perfect width. That one's got the big flares to make it even wider again. Very cool looking car though. Very well presented.
Yeah, nicely into that apex and good exit speed, and he's off up the hill. And see what I mean? You can see when that drone comes down, that's definitely a blind entry, that right-hander there. That's typical Otago roads. They're good when you're really nice and confident. Trouble you.
And just how much detail
want a bit, but you don't want to confuse yourself too, because you know I'm a bit slow when it comes to too much information. Little lock up in the rear there.
Grant Walker, I'd say, was grabbing the handbrake there. That was actually quite nicely done, wasn't it?
There's nothing wrong with that, and it's unusual to need a handbrake in an Escort.
Yeah, exactly. Normally you just do that with the wheel.
Get on the accelerator and tip it in.
It's a great Grant back. It's actually 6 years since he's driven a rally car, so one of the veterans into his 70s now.
Wow, good to see him back.
Hebs.
And don't forget too, we are only a couple of Ks into the start of this stage, and we did talk on our YouTube channel that obviously their tyres are going to be quite cold, and they've just come out of a service, so you'll see a bit of understeer, I think, in that first couple of corners.
As we see Ben and Charlotte Harding too, and especially a lot of these classic cars, the rear-wheel drives,
yes,
and particularly as we get in further up the field, then they're not using the front tyre as much to turn the car. They're really using the whole attitude of the car.
Yeah. Well, definitely not at first in the first few corners.
Yeah.
As you can see, great drone shot showing that little crest that I was talking about. So like I say, we're just right at the beginning of the stage. We're probably only 10, 15 corners in. She's a big, long straight.
Yeah. So dad and daughter combination, great to see. The old family rallying's a good thing.
Nice to hear a rotor. Just something about.
Oh,
that was
big
nice,
sideways.
Nice and wide there. Sounding like Scafey now, mate.
Right out sideways.
That's a lovely entry into that as well.
Pretty sure that car's left-hand drive too. Just to
it's our blind Crest.
Add to complexity. Maybe a little bit of dust hanging in the.
It does look like it's increasing a little bit.
The breeze has died down a bit.
It's pretty dark and stormy too. It's we had blue skies this morning, but now it seems to have clouded over a little.
So we see Andy Martin now, Matt Hayward. So these guys are in the historic New Zealand Rally Championship as well.
Oh, no, geez, he was leaning on that front tyre.
He was working the MRFs hard.
Yeah, really good. Good tyres, those.
Good tyres, good tyres.
They'll hang on.
Oh, listen to the BDC, would you? They've been having a few issues with that car. It's got a flat spot down low, so I guess the answer to that is rev it.
Rev it.
Rev it.
I just couldn't talk over that. It was just so beautiful to hear that BDA.
One of the iconic sounds of rallying all around the world, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. You know, a forest at night, and you don't even see the lights or anything, you know, but you hear them coming, and then you get a glimpse of the lights, and it's just like chills.
This is we see Charlie Evans, so he's running in the Rally Challenge two-wheel drive class.
That's quite a tricky little coming into that. So here's our junction where we are, and a couple of crests you can see, but it's a tricky little S.
That's sort of the big crest about there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. So they're hard on the brakes. It's probably only about 110. Another little lock up, probably complete. Oh, nice and wide. I think that'd be a little compression lock. I don't think that was handbrake.
No, I don't think so. Charlie normally pretty smooth.
Yeah, skipping down through the gears. Sometimes, you know, you have a little compression lock through the gearbox.
Keeping the rallying in the family. He's got his niece Dana Kikabosh co-driving for him.
She's done a couple now, hasn't she?
She has, and a few different
wide
seats.
too. Jeez, you missed that, BB. He was so wide there. Go, Charlie.
Right out wide, right out sideways.
He's a hard peddler, Charlie, and
The
probably
young-
best known in Marymara Forest. To tell you
The
truth.
young fast Kiwi Charlie Evans. Recently celebrated 40 years in rallying. He's up to
Wow.
about 42 now, so
Jeepers.
imagine how much money he could have had.
Well, I sometimes think that same thing when I stare at my mortgage.
Can't take it to the grave.
Well,
Dill.
then I go to my garage and I look at my car and I'm like, I'm happy with that.
Jamie Luff and Brad Luff, so a couple of front-running Aussies that are over here for this weekend.
Is that Juddy's car?
That is one of the Magnum cars. Oh, just
How
a little,
sideways was
yeah,
that?
Yeah, he gave it the big scanny coming in, didn't he? So
That was awesome.
used to seeing him in a Toyota Yaris AP4 in the Australian Rally Championship, but he's seen the light.
Awesome.
He's, I think for a lot of Australians, Otago especially is on the bucket list.
But I think I would still love to have a go in an Escort down there if anyone's out there with an Escort.
Yeah.
I don't crash that often. Only every second rally.
And the good news is he's coming
I
off
just
one.
crashed
So,
the last one.
yeah.
So I should be good for this one, I promise.
Yeah, look at all the people that are out here watching the Otago Classic, or the Otago Rally in general. As we get down to the pointy end of the
Yeah.
Classic field.
Yeah, we always get a lot of fans down here, a lot of spectators. It's one that people just drawn to, and you can see why.
Derek Asen here, of course, the Opel Manta 400.
What a cool car.
Nicely done. Yeah,
Beautifully done.
Great to see something a bit different.
I know.
Going back in the day, we had a couple of Mantas out here with the likes of the Owen brothers. Gary Smith. Oh, well tipped in.
Holy, that is just beautiful to watch. And the noise, what a lovely pitch that engine has, just beautiful.
Yeah, great induction sound, isn't it? The,
Yep, the side draft or whatever they call it.
Well, they're injected.
Injected, is it? Okay.
They're injected the Mantas. I
Shows my
believe.
car skills, doesn't it? Yeah, big crowd here today. We can hear a couple of choppers coming in, so we must be getting to some of the front boys in the classics.
Yep.
Who's next up?
Next up should be Stephen Gill, who's another one of our historic championship competitors, and that actually in Derek Asen's old car.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a good car, too.
It's actually won the Otago Classic Rally 3 times.
3 times.
Three
there
times,
you
4
go.
times possibly.
Big understeer.
Yeah, got the old terminal dose of understeer there for
Did.
Gilly
He did.
and Grant Malloy, but one of the great characters of rallying is Gilly. And hard charger, beautifully presented car. This car with the whole bay engine in it. So,
Nice and tidy. Making it look easy, really, and I'll tell you what, it's not easy.
absolutely. No, I wonder if that's Andrew Hawkswood, to be honest with you.
It probably, we've got a chopper landing in there, so I think it probably is Andrew. Yeah, I think that's his chopper. Anyway, back live.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't think he ever won Otago Rally. We know Jack did last year, so family bragging rights, but then
Yeah,
I think he'll just whip out his, oh, well, I won the championship and how'd you go, son?
that's probably a bigger,
you
bigger
take
tick,
that,
isn't it? Yeah, I'd give up a couple of rally wins for a championship, definitely.
So
So
this
would
is
Emma.
Ari. Yeah, exactly. Ari Pettigrew. And
That's a nice tidy
Jack
line.
Norris, yeah. So Ari currently sitting third in the overall classic
Nice.
rally here in Otago, and right on the pace. So we missed there Graham Ferguson and Ellie McFly both stopped in the first couple of stages. Ellie looked like he found quite a nice soft parking spot in the Berwick Forest, which is always the best kind of parking spot to find, but
Yeah,
a bit of a
somewhere
rough.
warm, close to the end, so you're not so long to get out of the stage. I've just heard that Hayden's car is back up and going, which is great. So hopefully Hayden will rejoin us for the afternoon, because of course we were all looking forward to the Hayden v Meeke clash, and sadly enough Hayden put it off, I think, on 21 k's into stage 1, which we were all
Yes, absolutely. Hearing possibly an issue with the steering shaft as well. Championship, and second by not a lot to Chris Meeke, to be honest with you. So he's had a strong morning, and you can see why. Look at how hard he's pushing that.
That sounds great too. It's up a gear there, I think, between most drivers. Definitely up a gear compared to Ari.
Yeah, Dean.
Oh, that's wide. Look at that.
Carrying all the speed.
Well, he's paying for the whole road, so use the whole road. Good boy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, look at that. He's straightened that corner up as well and coming up to the crest. You can see that crest so much better now. He's just going over it now. And like I say, that's a blind entry corner. So, you know, you've got to be inch perfect in those. Turn in too early, you're going to hit the apex, and that's not always a good thing to do.
No, you don't want to drive over the top of it.
No, never good.
So for Dean, that's a new car for him for this year. That registration plate, and that's probably about it, was the one that Ari Vartanen used in 1977.
No kidding.
Really New Zealand IF 780, so quite a famous
cool
car
is
in the old
that?
mass sport colours, and now those are, I believe, the Greg Taylor colours.
Oh,
Greg Taylor's. Inky Tulloch also had a run in that car with similar livery as well. So
another great peddler.
yeah, absolutely. It's had some history, that car. And I'm sure Dean will continue to do it justice. Of course, Ashton Wood, the former custodian of that car.
Who we got up next then?
So it
Stevie?
should be Chris Meeke.
Must be Meeke, I thought it
Yeah.
was. So has he got a 2-minute gap?
He's got a 2-minute
Yeah.
gap, yes, and then a 4-minute gap. So
Right, so we've got 4 minutes to fill. Wow,
yeah.
that's going to be fun, isn't it, team?
so we might do a bit of a results rundown once we see Chris Meeke.
And sadly enough, we don't have drone shots of Meeke because we're changing batteries over on it, but we will see him any minute.
There's a helicopter flying overhead, so that's why.
Okay, that's
Go
why. Here
away,
he comes
Andrew.
in
Yeah.
Rossendale Escort.
Yeah, Chris Meeke, Noel O'Sullivan. No.
Oh, now there you go.
That's how you do it.
class.
That
That's
is how
class.
you do it, isn't
Here
it?
I am blabbering on about cold tyres. Look at that. That's class, mate. Look at the lean on that, the attitude. And I can tell you for free, he's carrying huge speed, like noticeably faster than everybody else. And yeah, look at the dust cloud. I mean, just a bit of a shame that Hayden's out because it would have been great to see the two of them going head to head.
Just listen to that car going
Just
up the hill.
beautiful. I don't even think he lifted.
Darren Galbraith's outside at the moment saying, see, told you it was flat.
Yeah, well, he's yeah, well, for Meeke it's flat.
All right, so we have a bit of a look at some results, and of course they'll be coming through all the time, but in the Otago Classic 4-wheel drive field, after this stage, special stage 3, Tim Smith extending that lead out to 24.4 seconds ahead of the first of our Group A Challenge competitors, Josh Keeley. He's just over a minute up the road from Glenn Alcorn, who's second of the Group A Challenge cars, and in a big battle, just 7 seconds separating he and Kevin Laird. So it's for the second and third spots in the Group A Challenge and third and fourth in the Otago Classic 4-wheel drive rally. As we see Paul Fraser, so he's running a little bit late, another one of our historic championship competitors.
Oh.
There's a nice surprise.
Yeah, there you go. I thought we had 4 minutes to fill, but we still will, sadly.
I think we still will, yes. Paul and Peter Benbrook, so the of course won the championship last year in the Mass Sport lookalike Ford Escort. This year in the 240 RS, that car running a 2-litre engine, but looks the real deal.
It certainly does. And
so we're going to go to the action replay here, Dylan Turner.
we need a sponsor for a replay too.
Look at that, you can see the MRF tyres there too. Hasn't even knocked the sticker off the sidewall there. Brand new set of rears, looks like second-hand fronts.
This dip in here, look at that. Look how early he starts it, and then he has to actually straighten it because it's just a little kink. Then he turns it in and he is just off. Amazing. You know, WRC driver obviously, and yeah, dare I say it, it does just show the class of a good WRC driver. So here's the start. So we've got Jack rolling up onto the start, and of course we're still 4 minutes away from the start. So what the drivers do now is we hand in our time cards. You can see one of them warming their tyres up. That'll be Benny. Benny warming his tyres up. And we come up to the line and then we're waiting. And I tell you what, that's when you get a little bit nervous. Normally there's so much to do in the rally car and you've got so much time. When you come up to the line, time almost stands still. And 4 minutes will seem like a lifetime for Jack. It really will. And yeah, look, your nerves, your tyres are cooling down the whole time as well. And what you start to do to try and control the nerves is you start to run through the stage. So if you've got a good memory, and this is what Hayden does, and you know, guys like SVG, they'll run through the stage. They would have just watched their in-car footage or their recce footage from last year or from this year, and they'll kind of be looking at those first few junctions and working a few things out. And that's, you know, hopefully makes the time go a little bit quicker.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, sometimes you might, depending on the driver co-driver relationship, yeah, the driver might just, yeah, the co-driver might.
Yeah, and sometimes on reconnaissance. So reconnaissance, we do a couple of we do 2 days before the rally, and we finish it normally at the start time. You know, the over the ramp, the
ceremonial
start. That's the words I was looking for. So we put a few notes in recce of the stage, basically, just to get us mentally conditioned and mentally ready for the stage. So you might put fast and twisty first 5Ks, then it opens up to more flowing. For do we have to look after the time? It was a quick 4 minutes, me blabbering.
It was, absolutely.
Yeah. We could have made a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Here he comes. Jack into the stage. And of course, Jack's lying. Whereabouts is he lying, BB?
So he has actually dropped a little bit of time. He's in 6th, 5th of the Cars in the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship.
Here he is, flat up the straight, and as you can see, he's got a couple of little crests, and then we're into the 90 right junction. You can see the crowd on the left-hand side. Look at that. Great camera shots. Couple of stabs at it, cold tyres. Turning it in now.
Nicely on the apex.
That was a beautiful apex. Well done, Jack. Coming down to our long corner, which is where we're stationed. You just see him just tipping it in. Look at the suspension travel.
And this is where, and you can see he's probably half a car width further in than anyone else we've seen. Just
that's your four-wheel drive grip, and you know, AP4 car, just fantastic grip.
Yeah, and with that suspension travel that you pointed out, and you can see the ability to absorb those bumps and be that much further in without it unsettling the car is quite phenomenal, isn't it?
And that's it. It's all about keeping Tyre on the ground, and when there's a bump, it's about that smoothness of the shock. And that's what your shock absorbers are for, basically. You hit a bump, which is the bottom of your shock, and the car just becomes, you know, no one can drive it. So, here we go, Benny boy.
Yeah, currently sitting second, and if you haven't caught up with the news, Jack Stokes on debut in the four-wheel drive class with an 11.3 second lead after 2 special stages. So, what a start!
Brilliant start. Benny's dipping it in for the long corner right now. And they're just feathering it through. It was fast. Look how much faster it is than the two-wheel drive.
Oh, absolutely, and I think visibly quicker than Jack as well.
Yeah, he definitely looked quicker. A little bit later braking, I think, coming into that first corner, and it didn't look like lock-up, but maybe a bit of bias issues going on, or maybe he had a bit of handbrake. I'm not 100% sure.
So Chris Meeke fastest through the stage, pulled 4.6 seconds faster than Dean Buist.
Now we've got Robbie Stokes, he's just coming up through those S's, and then he's onto the big long straight coming down to the 90 right, the junction.
Big news over the off-season, Robbie Stokes moving out of the AP4 Fiesta into the Skoda Fabia Rally 2 car. So
same as Ben's, obviously, so you can see him tipping it in, little wobble. Oh, nice and tidy again, very similar mirror image. Really to Ben's, wasn't it?
Absolutely. So Robbie's adjustment to the Skoda pretty quick so far, sitting in 3rd place, 7.3 seconds off Ben Hunt as we see him. A little bit of a correction on the exit there.
Gee, it is nearly flat.
Yeah.
Hey, Darren was telling us that corner's flat. He's flipping right. I'll take it back. Not very often he's right, but this time he was.
Nice and smooth there from Robbie Stokes. Of course,
Crest now.
New co-driver for him, Shane Reynolds. Look at that. Look how
just
far
a
off.
Lift. Yeah, gee, great.
Right over to the left side of the road, though, was quite noticeable, wasn't it?
And that's it. And you're trying to work out how much room did I have there. So you're relying on your recce. You know, 2-pass recce, isn't it?
Yeah, 2-pass recce here is.
So you do get a little bit of knowledge for the stage, but trust me, you can't remember absolutely everything. And here we've got Emma Gilmore, of course. So whereabouts is she so far?
So she had a puncture in special stage 1, so unfortunate start for her. So she currently sitting in 10th place, made a few spots up. Stage 2, she was right in the mix, third fastest.
Oh,
but
that's great. Good on Emma. She dipped it in nicely.
well
Good
sideways
speed.
there.
Nice speed.
Probably a little too sideways. Had to almost downshift on the exit there by the sounds of it.
Well, she's sideways in the wrong spot. She was sideways coming in. And I mean, like, you want to be quite straight coming in if you can. Maybe just cold tyres, like I said. You know, maybe she didn't get quite the same amount of heat. There'd be lots of little things that can stuff you up on that first couple of Ks of a stage, because you don't want to start too stupidly. Got a long rally to go, but you're also mindful when you get a puncture, you're on the back foot.
Yes.
So, you know, she's already fighting time and fighting her mind, because she loves to, you know, be up the front. So
yeah, so she's a minute and a
enjoying
half
that.
off the pace as we see now. Welcome back to the championship for Josh Marston.
Yep, Josh, and dips it in nicely.
Nice and tidy there. So
Beautiful apex.
Josh sitting in 4th place. He was the only one to take the super soft tyre this morning on the MRF.
Yeah, and I think that did. I don't think it didn't do any problems. It was probably a good call.
Sitting 4th. He's 30 seconds off the podium, but in a fairly well, he's got Jack Hawkswood 7 seconds behind him. So a little bit of a battle there.
He'll be on softs again now.
Yeah, I suspect so. Ground temperature comes up a little bit, but a shorter loop of stages. So 3 stages, but 3 shorter stages. As we see now, our rally leader.
Our hard charger. Look at him go, another Stokes boy.
Yeah, and speaking of second generation, we just had Andrew. Oh, he's
that was a little bit wide. Cold tyres, mate.
Cold tyres.
Coming up the straight towards the junction now.
So he's got Hayden Graves co-driving with him, and we saw Andrew Graves' dad, and with
really?
Josh. Yeah,
I did not know that. The AP4 looks great. A little bit softer setup, I feel, than the 2 R5s that we've seen so far. They look nice and tidy. Yeah. He doesn't look to be sort of over driving it though, does he?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
Smooth and fast. Oh, that's good speed.
Beautiful through there.
That was good speed. Very tight and tidy. Look how straight he is.
Half lift through there. It was only a half lift. It
There
was
you go.
sort of he was still in the throttle. He just wasn't in all of it.
But what impressed me most was how straight. We just had to straighten there a little bit. But how straight he was on that first right-hander we saw back there. That was just he turned in a bit early and then he had to readjust his line, which is quite unusual because that is so difficult to do. And if you, but it could be cold tyres. Once again, just struggling a little bit for the
Bit too
grip.
much grip out of the front MRFs.
Yeah.
But normally you're right. Like when you turn in early and have to turn back out, you then end up running wide on the exit. But he didn't. He recovered it well, and I was sort of wondering
Here
what
comes
that
Kings.
Kingsley
Jones and Waverley.
Absolutely.
South Auckland Car Club. What are you doing, Kings? Jeez.
For a man who comments on your apexes, Dylan Turner, I think he's
That is damn rich, mate. That was terrible.
So King's actually just behind Chris Meeke in the overall standings. In 9th place. He'll be the first to tell you not as strong suit. The South Island Rally's the big fast, and of course a year out of the car because Zeal was in that car last year.
And he, Kingsley will take a bit of adjusting back to the Otago roads. They're very fast, and first up rally is quite cruel, to tell you the truth, because it is a tricky rally. It's probably one of the hardest rallies that you'll do in our country.
Yep. So we're missing Hayden McKenzie. His Otago curse continues. He's never made it past stage 4 here. Unfortunately, a
drive shaft, prop shaft we call them.
Yeah, prop shaft, and it tried to join them in the cockpit of the car. The car. Scary thought.
You might see on Facebook on his page or Snapchat. Yeah, it nearly came through the tunnel. So thank goodness it wasn't no further.
Yes.
Because you hear cars pole vaulting off those things.
It's a scary thought.
Yeah, I've broken a prop shaft and it just sounded like someone with
even heard stories of cars where it punctures. So this is Caleb McDonald. But
how fantastic is he going? A little old Evo 6.
Yeah, this is pretty good history. Deb Kibble won the Group N Championship in this car back in 2001, and then
I remember that car.
Darren Galbraith won the Rally Challenge 2 years running in this car.
Yeah, it's a good car.
Caleb was right in contention until a gearbox problem at Whangarei really
last year.
Yeah, disappointing.
So over that crest and into the 90 right. You look at the crowd now. You can really get a great view of it. Yeah, a little bit wide, but nothing wrong with that. Still got round the corner quick.
Absolutely. So he was a real find of last year, Caleb, and making the Evo 6 work hard. So running in the Rally Challenge class, so their points are just for today.
Right, yep, they're just the one dayers.
Just
nice and tidy there, and you know, and tight on the apex and good exit speed.
Yeah, and Caleb there with a lead of 37 or 36 seconds over Gavin Feast in that class.
Yeah, Caleb's a good driver. I was just watching his lines from that drone. He's a really good driver.
Very smooth, isn't he?
Very smooth, very Sebastian Loeb.
Yeah, very precise.
Yep, you can just see it. Okay, so maybe we could go to some results, because I think they're just finishing the stage, BB.
Yeah, so Ben Hunt, 7 seconds faster than Jack. That'll be Jack Hawkswood.
Jack Hawkswood, yep.
Yeah,
oh, fantastic. We've got our on the screen.
On the screen, how good. As we see Sean Haggerty, so first of the cars running in the all-comers field. And just, as you'd expect from Haggerty.
Oh, he cut that deep, didn't he? No one's gone on there. Beautiful.
But a graphic example of in a new generation car, we'll call them, the AP4 R5. You wouldn't even notice it, but that really picked that car up.
Yeah, it did. Scruff of the neck sort of stuff.
In fact, to be fair to him, probably there's been a couple of cars in there, and he's following the marks.
Yeah, he'd be following the marks. But like you say, the AP4s would be straight over there. So Ben Hunt, Stokes, Jack, Hawk.
Come through, obviously the big one is Jack Stokes, the rally leader. Is off a quarter of the field.
Charlie Evans in the top 10. How cool is that?
So this is obviously NZRC results. So this is James Worker, and he's actually sitting 5th outrights.
That's fantastic.
This is the old Bruce Herbert Evo 6.
Yeah, good car that one.
Didn't need that rear bumper anyway.
No, well they just fall off. That's what I always used to say. Get back to service and dab it, but where's your rear bumper? And I go, I think it just fell off, mate. You didn't cable tie it up hard enough.
So in that battle for 4th, Jack Hawkswood got 0.6 of a second back out of Josh Marston, so 6.5 seconds there. The gap between Ben Hunt and Robbie Stokes there, 13.1 seconds, as you can see. Keep updating those results as they come through, but of course if you want to follow along at home, www.chrissport.co.nz, the best results service in the world, bar none. Fantastic. And of course you can check out the work that Elevate Digital Assist is doing for us as well, the summary scoreboards after each stage on the Facebook page during the day, as we see Ben Huband. Oh,
a nice corner. Gee, the ruts are starting to come through. I don't know if you noticed that mid-corner, but the car wobbled a bit. That was a rut.
Yeah, so Ben, his first attack on the New Zealand Rally Championship.
Great sounding car.
Yeah, this is the ex-Richard Mason car, so a very, very successful car.
Yeah.
Originally built by ProDrive, and then
it was a great car.
Took Richard to three championships and multiple rally wins. He could trade a few. Yeah, he's got plenty of rally wins that he could trade off for championships as well. Yeah, he's got plenty of championships he could trade off for rally wins as well.
Well, there's the whole package.
He's turned up to the poker game with 5 aces, hasn't he?
He did. Yeah, 3 decks. And we were short-suited.
Yeah, absolutely. But Ben, let's just have a little look as to where Ben's sitting in that Rally Challenge field. Quite a competitive field this year again, and he is sitting 4th there, just behind his teammate Julian Longley from Vanuatu in 3rd, giving Gavin Feast a bit of a hurry. And we see Gavin Feast now, Mel Peden co-driving for him.
Yeah, good to see Mel back in the seat after obviously a up and down season last year.
And great to see, Gav had done 2 rallies before he started the championship last year. His progression has been huge, and it's fantastic to see. One of the real nice guys of the sport. He
is, lovely gentleman, and starting to carry some really good speed and looking really strong in the stages, starting to understand his car, you can see that. And of course Mel's great on the notes, so that fills you with confidence when you've got a great co-driver and you start to get your head around the car.
So times through. Jack Stokes, 5.7 seconds slower than Ben Hunt. That rally lead
it's all
halved,
on.
5.6 seconds now.
Gee, it's tight at the top, isn't it? It's pretty exciting.
Isn't it?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've got to be truthful. I thought he'd be fast. I didn't think he'd be on Ben's pace straight away, you know, but that's pretty exciting. Good to see Benny coming back. Benny's one little bad point, if I can say something, he does sleep in sometimes.
Yep.
And he did sleep in on stage 1, and if I was ever going to beat Ben in a rally, it would always be stage 1, but Benny would nip at the heels and he'd get me back pretty quickly. So,
and how's this for the Christmas dinner table conversation? Jack Stokes, 1/10 of a second faster than his brother Robbie through the stage.
Oh, there you go. Of course, Robbie getting used to his new car, that's a beautiful shot.
So this is Eugene Crune and Philippe Delrude just running in the all-comers field this year. We've regularly seen them as a part of the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship, but you obviously a few tricky things going on in New Caledonia this year, so they weren't able to commit to a full championship.
Not a good country, and I'm sure, you know, businesses would be a little bit hard over there. So, yeah, great to see them back, and of course the Choice Motorsport built car.
Yeah, they don't do a bad car, do Choice Performance.
Well,
although that's
I might be biased, but best car builders in my opinion.
Sounds like that might have had a
little misfire.
Yeah,
maybe could do. Blind Crest. See how narrow he was compared to Jack,
yes.
And that's what you spoke about. So that's just experience, and I guess, you know, I mean, that's also.
It's trust in your notes.
It's bravery too, you know, and yeah, just goes to show you. Blind Crest, right out wide, you're going to have such an easy apex and exit where he makes it harder. Pierre makes it harder for himself with that line that he had. Eugene, sorry.
Yeah.
Pierre.
Pierre one of our
his lines.
one of our Vanuatu visitors, and this is another Julian Longley, and he's got Fleur Pedersen in with him this year, and a combination that really seems to be working. They were first event.
Great time.
So just 15 seconds off Gavin Feast after 2 stages in 3rd place for the Rally Challenge. So
that's pretty good going, good start.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I said before, it's great to see such an international flair of drivers coming down for our beautiful roads.
And this is the first of our NZRC 2-wheel drive cars, the front-wheel drives. Bryn Jones, Sean Lockyer.
Young Bryn. Spoke to him this morning. He looked a bit nervous, I thought, but you always are a bit nervous going into Otago.
Yeah, well, that's that first one of the year, isn't it? Of course, not to bring up too many bad memories, but it was a shocker for him last year.
Yeah.
So he'll be glad to have put the first stage behind him and come out. Yeah, he's
great little driver. There he is over that crest. You see them get a little bit of air, those cars. They're so light. Nice and late on the brakes, and then he tips it in. Let's see how the apex goes.
Nicely
That's
done.
Very nice. Nice and tidy.
And didn't get out in the loose stuff, and so it gives you that good traction, which is so important in the 2-wheel drive cars.
Yeah, you can't get in that loose stuff because it's going to take 2 days to get back out of it. Yeah. You really do. They almost have to dig a hole.
It's just...
So nice little left foot he did there. So what you do with your left foot is you keep your car loaded up, and he didn't even lift off the accelerator with his right foot, obviously. So just a little left foot brake, keeping your foot flat down, just keeps the car loaded up, and he was able to take that right-hander flat, where obviously the AP4s have to have a little bit of a stab at the brakes to get around that corner.
Yeah, Brynny, with a little bit of time to find, he's dropped 19 seconds to Tim Mackesy in the identical car. So, you know, that battle's certainly going to be on.
Yeah, he won't be happy with that then, will he?
No. Tim, of course, the local lad, and showing it as we see Ray Wilson, Tanya Cresswell. So just run again. A few of these cars, the easiest way to identify the all-comers, there's a couple of them that won't have the MRF stickers on the bumpers, the Brian Green Property Group windscreen banner. Also running with the 200 numbers, so the 3-digit numbers, whereas all the championship cars are running with the standard numbering.
Yeah.
So if you're train spotting at home, that's how we play the game.
That's how we can tell. That's how we know. And of course their tyres are open. They can choose any tyre they want. Is that right, BB?
Yep. And the the best one to be on is
the
MRF.
by far. By far. I
So,
think most of them are, mate, to tell you the truth.
yeah, to be honest with you, I think if we have a look.
So you can see the start.
Yes, it is Tim Mackesy on the start, and of course, because he's running in the FIA Asia Pacific Rally Championship, so there's 3 of them. There's
He's got a 2-minute, hasn't
2-minute
he?
gap.
Yes.
So Jack Hawkswood's in that class, Tim Mackesy, and also Fuyuhiko Takahashi in another of the Rally 4 Fiestas. So we'll see him a little bit later on.
A little bit later.
So
There's your typical browse. You can sort of see that from that start. So you can see, imagine driving over that and going, I wonder what's on the other side. And of course, when you don't have pace notes, you have to brake. But those pace notes, we take those flat.
yeah, absolutely. So, of course, Tim and Lauren, the husband and wife team. How would you go with your wife in the car? Bill?
Oh, heck. She's probably listening. Hi, darling. If you're listening out there. Renee?
I was going to say, do you think she's watching?
I've got a great story about the first time she came in the car. She had her bloody eyes closed the whole way. And we were doing this beautiful crest, and I was like, I'm going to throw the car sideways while we're jumping, like the best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
I look over, she's got her eyes closed. I was devastated. And I nailed it. Well, I even got an apex.
No.
Surely.
So a little bit of handbrake there to get the Fiesta turned in.
Unusual line. That's
Yeah,
what I'll
yeah.
say there is wide.
Yeah,
Like it worked.
probably a little bit hot in there.
Yeah.
Of course, this stage being repeated this afternoon, and so will the live stream be.
That's good speed. We came out there quite quick.
So, of course, yeah, you can make little adjustments in the notes for this afternoon. Oh, a little bit
Jeez,
sideways.
he's struggling, isn't he? He's bloody everywhere.
Understeer
He's all
to
over the
oversteer, and he's obviously pushing on hard. Knows he's got that lead over Bryn, and he'll want to keep it. He'll want, with no Dylan Thompson this year, it's an opportunity for someone to really stamp their mark on this championship.
Nice and wide on that corner. He definitely looked like he was trying. That's your cold tyres, though. You know, I mean, your tyres move a little bit, so they don't actually move when they're cold. And the problem is they skate over the top. So,
well, especially front-wheel drive car, right? Because there's not a lot you can do. So we see Ali Mackay now. So saw him off in stage 1.
Oh, that's real wide. Jeepers.
Mark 1 BDA Escort.
You don't see so many of them. Still a cool looking car. Let's have a listen to it. That's amazing.
Rev it.
What a ripper.
Oh, beautiful.
Hopefully you got your speakers up loud at home, because that was amazing. Beautiful sound. Oh, here we go. We've got our drone back up to our Bailey's drone.
You get your mitts off our drone.
And are you ready for the Turner replays?
Yeah.
I'm going to own them all unless you want to pay.
This is Dave Strong. Order. And Dave
Great speed shown from Dave.
yes, and Dave will be the first. But he's actually the leading.
He's doing it, isn't he? He's still out there doing it. Good on him.
Dave's actually the second two-wheel drive car in the New Zealand Rally Championship field behind Dean Buist.
There you go. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, absolutely.
Speaking of sound, beautiful sound out of there. Listen to that.
So if you're wondering why a Honda Jazz sounds like that, Dave had this great idea, and believe it or not, he doesn't drink, because this sounds like something you or I would come up with.
Beersies.
Yeah, a couple of rums deep. So that's got a supercharged 3.5 litre V6 mounted behind the mid-mounted,
more or less.
and then it's rear-wheel drive.
It's just cool.
In a short wheelbase little car, like a mega handful, and they've spent a lot of time developing that car. Dave.
It's just great that people do that to. Oh gosh, here comes Greenie. Greenie. Come on, Greenie. Oh, Greenie,
using all
don't
the road.
go over there. Holy heck. Cold tyres.
Yeah. Brianna Little co-driving for Greenie, one of your former co-drivers. But of course, where would we be? It's 15 years now that Brian Green and the Brian Green Property Group have been supporting the New Zealand Rally Championship.
Just a great person, and look, we wouldn't have this live stream. We wouldn't have anywhere near what we have today without Brian Green. So hat off to that young man. He's just a legend.
So into a couple of our Rally Challenge two-wheel drive cars now, and this is Ian Warren and Richie Chadwick. These guys also competing blind. Now, not blindfolded.
They haven't got a dog?
No dog. No
No guide dog? Right.
Down, Fido, down.
Should we explain what blind is? So coming up to that crest, so see, he doesn't know whether. So he hasn't done Rick. He's got the route organiser's book.
Yep. So he'll know that this intersection's turning right.
90 right.
They've got that. Anything that's particularly dodgy is cautioned.
Yeah.
But not the detailed pace notes or even just the standard safety notes that are provided, or available to purchase for the event. So it's pretty sensational the speed that Ian achieves.
That's good. I mean, he doesn't know where that corner's going. So blind rallying is definitely an art, and it's kind of like, I don't want to say I've been rallying a while, but there was a lot more blind rallies back in my day.
Well, of course, it was only 2000 that the New Zealand Rally
notes.
Championship got safety notes.
Yeah, Neil supplied us with the safety notes, and that changed rallying really forever. So much more professional with notes. And then, of course, recce notes are just that next level.
Yes.
Organiser notes are great to start with, but then the recce organiser notes or rewritten notes, just you can put so much detail in them. And, of course, people like Possum Bourne, created just amazing little parts to the notes that we still use today.
So this is Thomas Paul, Brigadieri, another one of our rookies, running in the Rally Challenge two-wheel drive class. And he's having a really good run, 5.1 seconds off Bryn Jones in the little Honda Civic, just ahead of Stephen Gill by 2.3 seconds, and then Greeny's right in there just 8 seconds off. So quite the battle pack there too, because Charlie Evans just 2 seconds up the road from Bryn Jones.
There you go.
I'd just about call it like a horse race. You got Ben Huband and then 0.7 of a second back to Josh Keeley, who's just 7 seconds ahead of Charlie Evans, and then 2 back to Bryn Jones. Thomas Paul a further 5.1 seconds back, and then we're 2.3 down to Stephen Gill, and 8.3 back to Brian Green. They're all coming around the final furlong now.
My horse would still be running, of course.
Mine's just stopped. It's a bit puffed.
At the dairy.
You got a Heineken there?
Another late break. A little lock up in the front right.
Yeah, Jason Keach.
Gee, he pushes hard.
Richard Goatley, the Mark 1 Escort. This one, I think, has got a modern power plant, the Duratec motor in it.
Yes.
Well presented car too, isn't it?
Yeah, beautiful looking cuss. I can't wait to hear the sound. Here she comes.
Sounding strong. She's no BD, but...
Nah, it's not far off it though.
No.
Jeez, only a purist would tell the difference. Nice. He's pushing real hard. Great lines.
Are you saying someone that could tell the difference and just called it out should get a life?
Yeah, like you, BB. But we need expert comments like that, mate.
Yeah.
I'd have no idea. Stick on the engine. Oh, great for the sponsors there. Nice Hyundai jacket. Obviously here supporting Hayden.
You can actually see the...
Oh, that's us.
That's us
in the background there. Oh,
Hi, Mum.
That's PB waving. I wonder if my mum's watching. Of course, my son's watching all the way from Italy. Oh, and here we go.
Dave Ollis. Dave Ollis, Gemma Thomas. So another father-daughter combination. Popular way to go rallying, really, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean,
Cool car. Listen to that strong sound.
Yeah.
Like Ben Hunt's old car.
It is.
It is Ben Hunt's old car.
Well, no, it's not.
No, but it's like... Sorry, and I was saying that my son Lockie's watching from Italy. He's on a exchange program at the moment for 6 months, so he's living it up in Italy. Brilliant. Hopefully he's having a blast over there.
Now, we haven't seen Tim McIver. We haven't seen Tim McIver's other car that Hayden Paddon was driving, but we have seen James McIver, so sole survivor of the McIver
family. Oh, that was wide.
Oh, well, let's not put the mockers on.
Holy. So that's right early, and you can see they just got sucked in by that camber, and she was nearly all over.
It just does a little bit more than you sort of think, doesn't it?
Yeah, because it's just once you hit that loose gravel, you really do become a passenger pretty quick. So sets up nicely.
Little 1600 Escort, got the Toyota motor in it. This one, the 4AGE. So we've seen a few of those in the AE86s and a couple of Starlets, and now the Escort as well. But James,
dipping it in.
A hard charger. Listen to it.
Nice little left foot there, straight back on the gas. Is he going to take? No, big lift. No, that was almost flat, wasn't it?
Yeah. Just settle the back end of them. But
I think he might have scared himself after that little moment.
yeah, I think so. It was a moment, all right.
Definitely.
So just a bit of a rundown of where things are at. After 3 special stages, it is Jack Stokes with a 5.6 second lead, and who was picking that yesterday?
Yeah, I never would have thought.
Yeah,
I mean,
fantastic.
great to see.
So 5.6 seconds up the road from Ben Hunt, then Robbie Stokes 18.7 seconds off his brother in third. Josh Marston sitting in fourth, 50.5 seconds away from the rally lead, and just 6.5 seconds ahead of Jack Hawkswood. As well. A spin there for Kerry Sloan, and almost no, it stayed inflated. The MRF stayed inflated. I thought he might have knocked it off
the rear off.
Rear pulled, because it you see that build up of gravel on the outside, and you've got to be careful of things like that.
Little soft rollover. That was actually not that far away from a little soft rollover. If it had been a little bit more camber in the road, might have been a little bit different, but get away with it, you're pretty happy, and then just, get back on the horse and feed it. That's what I always say. Or send it nowadays. They're like, send it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was Kerry Sloan and Henry Raymond.
Can I say cold tyres again for
Yeah,
the 40th time this?
So we go to...
we're going to do a replay.
The live replay.
The Turner replay, we call these.
Well, it was a Turner effort, and yeah, you see the way the car pitched over. It was
yeah, that just came up before he thought it was gonna. That's that blind. Sorry to talk over the car. A little lock up there as well in the front with the BMW.
Yeah, Richard Galley, Claire Buccini.
So, like I was saying, it just obviously it's a little bit unsighted, the junction, because it's downhill, and yeah, gave him a bit of a fright.
Yeah, very very fast approach, and it becomes hard to pick that.
It does. Maybe he was starstruck by all the crowd.
Yep.
Big crowd today.
Don't want to waste a crowd, do you?
Never waste a crowd. Hawkswood taught me that.
Yeah.
Big Daddy Hawkswood, that is.
Big Daddy.
Daddy Warbucks.
So next up should be Chris Fitzgerald, I think, another Australian in the Subaru.
Here we go. Oh, beautiful car, this one. These drone shots are just fantastic, aren't they?
Well, give you such an appreciation of the nature of the road, and the approach, and rather than just seeing one little snapshot of the stage.
Yeah, they do. And the undulations of the road and the blind crest, you just can't see that from home, but the drone definitely helps. Coming up to us now.
So Chris
nice and tidy.
Chris and Riyadh, so not quite sure what the relation is there. We'll come back to you on that. This should be a 2-minute gap as well for Fuyuhiko Takahashi, one of our
Japanese competitors, I'm guessing.
Japanese competitor, yes, in the APRC as well as the NZRC and the NZRC two-wheel drive class, currently sitting in 3rd place.
Yeah, it's brilliant. What sort of cars are you driving, Blair?
So he's got a Ford Fiesta Rally 4, so all 3 of the cars in our NZRC two-wheel drive cars are identical. The Rally 4 Ford Fiesta.
Yeah.
Of course, Bryn Jones' car and the Tim Mackesy car as well. This car is actually the ex-Max McRae car.
Oh, there you go.
So I suppose you probably can't blame the car too much.
No, no, they're going to be well set up cars, of course, out of the M Sports stable. So, factory car, awesome.
He is currently 3.5 minutes off Bryn Jones.
Here he comes. Beautiful shot.
Joe the drone man is getting excited.
Joe's loving it. That was perfect timing, mate.
So fantastic to be able to welcome Takahashi-san. We saw him at Whangarei last year, and
always happy, always smiling.
Yeah.
Get in there, boy.
Oh, nicely done.
Good corner speed, a little bit of understeer on the exit, and sadly enough, he actually lost a lot of speed there on the because he took that other corner a little bit too quick. You've always got to think of the next corner. It's all very well getting through one, but he got away with it.
At what point did you figure this one out, Dylan?
Probably my 5th or 6th crash.
So a little bit of understeer there, and the Rally 4 Fiesta just getting those MRFs up to temperature.
His first Otago, isn't it?
This is his first visit to Otago.
Fantastic.
Yes. Yeah, he's been to Whangarei a few times, but obviously
Yes.
very, very different down here, isn't it?
Oh, it's totally different, mate. I was quite surprised. You know, you think a road's a road's a road. Nah, it's totally different. The landscape down here is just... It was all Crest. They didn't really like to dig out a lot of the roads where Whangarei, you know, we obviously have diggers up there. Yeah, maybe we couldn't get them across the Cook Strait, I'm not sure. But, yeah, it'd be interesting to have a chat to him tonight, see what he's thinking of New Zealand roads. And look, we'll let you, let all the fans of him, I know there'll be some watching, what he thinks of the stages and what he thinks of the roads.
Yes, he's got his son co-driving for him, Ken.
Isn't that cool? Father-son. Awesome.
Absolutely. As we see now, this is Dean Sumner, former national rally champion. Daff O'Rourke co-driving for him.
Dino. Oh, Daff's in the garage.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Dean and Daff.
Of course, Dean put a post up Monday, so is anyone keen to co-drive for me? We all thought it was an April Fool's joke.
Yeah, it was.
The 1st of April.
It was Tuesday, wasn't it? Because it was April Fool's Day, yeah.
I put on it, yeah, good joke, Dino.
Yeah.
But great to see Dino back, and yeah, Daff as well, back in the car.
This is Marty Bertelson, and this is a bit of an interesting beast too, the DX Corolla.
DX Corolla.
With a
wing?
with a V8.
Oh, V8, right. There you go. No mucking around. No mucking around there.
We're just doing an emergency insurance policy. I see one of the team running down the road with a
fill up the Jenny.
Fill up the Jenny.
I don't quite think people understand. Like, we're in the middle of nowhere.
We are.
Absolutely nowhere.
Well, no, we're about 5 k's from the middle of Middlemarch.
Yeah, that's nowhere, mate.
Yeah.
I mean, like, no offence to my South Island mates, but Middlemarch, I hadn't heard of that until I started rallying.
Yeah, no.
Beautiful apex there. Maybe some of our international visitors have heard of it, because of course a lot of the Lord of the Rings was shot around here.
Yeah, and a big part of that Otago rail trail too, which is something that people are more than welcome to do as long as they don't invite me to do it with them.
Not enough horsepower for us, is it? A little bit wide on the entry there, so that was a typical turn and missed apex. So. And coming up to that blind brow. Yeah, nice and tidy through there. Oh, and we've cut away.
We cut away to the next. Alan Garrick. But it's Chris Hogan.
Okay.
A little Suzuki Ignis.
They're cool cars back in the day.
Yeah, one of one. Ignis the Ignis. Of course, Jason West.
That's right. Jason used to drive this car. I've overtaken that car in the stage.
And the late Charmaine.
Oh, so, yeah, it's very sad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Malcolm and I overtook that with in our Evo 6 with no windscreen. I tell you what, it was
welding goggles on.
It was not much fun. It was spitting up stones left, right, and centre, and thank goodness he saw us.
So this is Alan Garrick. So there's a wee bit of swapping on the road, which of course makes
orders all over the show, isn't it?
Makes our life really simple, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
99 cars.
Yeah,
took the start this morning.
I mean, great to see, you know, because our economy is a bit dog, isn't it? It's a bit average, and it's just great to see, you know, people prioritising motorsport over probably their mortgage. Good on them.
You can't rally a house, but you can sleep in a rally car.
And that's it.
Take it from someone who's tried. It's not an overly comfortable sleep. Might have got locked out of the hotel room one night in Palmerston North. Spent a night in an Evo 6.
Oh dear, yeah, you can't recline the seats, that's the problem.
No.
And the insulation's all gone, so you're froze.
Oh no, I've got a little bit of that, but that's
a little bit of cushion.
That sort of led to other complications, should we say. Let's just say it wasn't my seat that I was sitting in.
Was it the co-driver's seat?
It was the co-driver's seat.
Normally is what people Middlemarch, look at the landscape is. It's like you're in the moon in some places.
Yeah, they're all pancake style rocks. They are quite something, aren't they? Like it.
Yeah.
And it's one of the amazing things about our sport. You know, you say you hadn't heard of Middlemarch until we came rallying, but it does take you to a lot of places that you wouldn't otherwise go.
No.
As we see the little Toyota Vitz of Mike Matheson and Gordon Legg.
A couple of little lock-ups coming in there. I'm not sure if he was just pumping the brakes or what he was doing. Maybe biased issues. Sounds great though. Great little car, great little class. Him and Pat Norris have some great battles, don't they?
Yeah, well, Pat's progressed now to the EA86 in the
He
historic
has
class.
too, that's right, yeah.
But we should see Jack Elliott and also Kevin Brocky in that class. You know, it's fantastic to find cost-effective ways to go rallying.
It's really expensive, and you know, Mike will be having just as much fun in that car
For longer.
Yeah, for longer. Sees a lot more of the road. Uses all the tyre.
The Simon Bell School School of Rallying.
Yeah, so the big boys are like 7-10 minutes to get through the stage. You know, Simon and them are 20.
It's value for money, isn't
It's value for money.
it? Still paying the same entry fee.
Exactly.
So Jack Elliott now, and this is the Echo. So there's the Vitz, the Yaris, and the Echo that are all the same thing, and God help you if you get it wrong.
All Toyotas?
All Toyotas.
Good cars, those Toyotas. That sounds good.
Yeah, he's pushing on pretty hard.
Yeah, a lot of people actually ask me how you get into rallying, and I mean, best way is have some money is a good way. But
Yeah.
start off with a car club. So Google your local car club. You got South Auckland Car Club if you're in Auckland, and Puncture Car Club, and a whole lot of other car
Yeah,
clubs.
Hibiscus Coast up on
Hibiscus, yep.
but you know, if you're anywhere around the country, there will be a car club for you. Jump on Motorsport New Zealand's website. They've got a list of all the car clubs around the country, and you know, a great way to get into it too, because you're dealing with a lot of like-minded people.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's got the same illness.
They do. And like I said, I didn't know how to do it, so I was thinking you had to build a car, but you don't. A lot of the time you join a car club, people have cars for sale, and it's a lot better to buy a car already built than try and build one. Pretty expendy.
So we see Colin Cole and Nicky Sim. So they're down from all. And also,
Yes, that's right.
the lady behind.
We run a really good rally sprint series up there. Of course, in my rally series, I think we have a great rally sprint series up north. And of course, New Zealand Rally Champs is just the best series of the lot.
Oh, pinnacle.
Brian Green, New Zealand Rally Champs series.
Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship, and of course a big thank you to the Brian Green Property Group, MRF Tyres, Omega Rental Cars, Cream Insurance. Man, it was a comfy drive out here in the Omega rental car this morning, wasn't it?
And it's nice to know that we're all covered by Cream Insurance, definitely.
Absolutely, as we see.
You're driving? Yeah. We need good insurance, trust me.
I may have made the odd claim through them. It was, to be fair, a seamless and pleasant experience too. It must be said. They take all the hassle out of making an insurance claim when a bus decides to drive through the side of your car 7 days before a World Rally Championship round.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's never good, is it?
No, it was sort of, not ideal timing, as we see Dave Bond, Australian over with
another Aussie.
Yeah,
our Aussie mates.
Escort.
No kangaroos on our stages, of course, which is great. You might get the odd possum or a bird, but no kangaroos. And of course, Hayden knows all about kangaroos. I don't know if some of you saw that online, but nothing worse than hitting a $160 or a $170 and seeing a kangaroo. And a twist of fate, exactly the same spot as Shane Van Gisbergen 2 years earlier.
Right, so as we look over the start line, and we're waiting for rally cars.
Yeah, looks empty there.
Calling all rally cars.
So you can see the little marks. That's obviously the start. So what happens is those two cars, we roll up to those. Those are our control normally. I think they're over the hill. But we roll up to the control and then hand in our time cards. They give us our start time. Yeah, thank you, drone operator. You can see the cars there. That's all our beautiful volunteers. They stand on the side of the road, and you can see a couple of cars in the control. We have a time that we have to get into those controls.
Everything's controlled to the minute, isn't it?
To the minute. And if we're late, we get a 10-second penalty.
Per minute.
Per minute, exactly, yes. So you can see the cars in the time control, we call that. And then they basically rock up to the start line. Got a couple of people there to start you. They check, make sure your belts are done up, and then of course you've got either your timing clock or your starter. Sometimes we start off those rally safe devices that we were talking about.
Yep.
Or we have a countdown. The WRC, of course, We have a really cool countdown clock, which is awesome. So your nerves aren't too bad around here because you're quite busy. You know, you're checking out your systems. You're making sure you're plugging into your intercom. So
3 minutes from when you leave that time control. So
yeah, to get down to the line.
Yep, until your start time. So
yeah, so you normally give it a couple of revs and try and warm your tyres up as you head down the hill as well. Do a couple of pumps of the brakes. Get your pads back, you know, to nice firm pedal, especially if you've got an older car.
Yep.
Because the AP4 always had a brilliant, consistent pedal. It's one thing I did notice about, you know, jumping out of something like a Legacy to the AP4 is the brakes are just incredible.
Yeah, earlier on too we saw Ben Hunt warming up the MRFs in that control as well, you know, just slide in the car.
Oh, we're going to have a replay. Let's go to a Turner replay.
So this is yeah, Ben Hunt, of course.
Little lock-up. He did too. A little handbrake.
Nicely
just
done.
Beautiful though. Got that power down so early. Got the, you know, got the twist of the car, and look at that, the way he just sweeps the car in. That's just trying to get more angle onto the road, and just.
So when you're doing that, just the right amount, basically you're trying to line up with the exit of the corner to drive straight out, aren't you?
It 100% gets the front going where you want it to go. Because you just don't know. Every corner, you don't know if the grip is going to be the same as the last corner. So you're dipping the car in to try and get a guide of the speed that you can carry on the exit. And of course, Ben rotated the car really quickly there. I think he might have used the handbrake because we saw a little lock of the wheel.
Through the junction there, yeah.
I think so. And it's unusual because Ben doesn't use the handbrake too much, and you don't need to too much in those cars. But maybe coming in a bit hot, so your handbrake's your friend.
All right, so this should be John Clifton starting the stage now. And I think these guys are pretty green to rallying. We saw them this morning down at the start, and they
nervous as anything.
Nervous as anything, looking for the place to check into the pre-start. So,
yeah. And he said he'd been there since 4 in the morning. The rally started at 7.
You can always spot the newbies, can't you? The ones that you know might be car.
Good corner speed too, so now he's got the big long straight coming up to the crests. So you can see there's one crest, second crest now. You can see the little darker mark means it's a crest. And then the big crest, which is right there. And then another crest.
Yeah, there's just a small one.
Yeah, just right now he's going over it.
Yeah.
You can see the car come down. And you see it's only 30 metres to the corner, so it's unnerving.
Yeah, so while you could see over the top of that last crest, it still unsettles the car that little bit, doesn't it? You know, it's still...
Well, and you can see the corner, but you can't see the road, if you know what I mean. So you just don't know your line. And that's and when you're travelling at, you know, I don't know, 130 Ks, some of the front guys will be doing maybe more.
Yeah.
It comes up real quick.
Right, so chasing him should be Adam Fisher. So we saw Gilly earlier on. It should be the Toyota Altezza.
So like I say, the order's a little bit all over the show for us, making our job easier.
Yeah, so down to the final half dozen cars now. So we hope you've enjoyed the coverage. I gather that the drone's been a bit of a hit.
Yes, we've
looking
heard
at the
some
comments.
Good comments, and like I say, please, if you have enjoyed the footage, put a little like down there. Put a little comment, because we do love your comments. And look, the only way we're going to learn is through your comments. So feel free, if you've got some questions, I'm happy to answer them, or Blair's happy to answer them in our next crossover.
Well, we might have Dale Budge, I think, for the next. He is. Fisher and Len Fisher. Great to see them out doing some skids. The Altezza. Surprised there's not more of them as rally cars. Quite a cool little car, right?
You know, my first tarmac rally, we got beaten by an Altezza. I was in my Leone, and yeah, little Altezza beat us. Good cars, good on tarmac. Than the little shorter cars like the Starlet and that, but real good. Great cars to learn in. The longer your car is, the easier it is around corners. Because the shorter the wheelbase, the quicker you spin out.
But the harder you got to work to turn the car in. As
that
we see.
Would be true. It's a nice little roller.
Yeah, Adrian Jones and Jake Luckin. So we're just starting to see some times through special stage 4. So Ben Hunt actually Jack Hawkswood fastest through that stage.
Oh man, she's a real treat.
6/10 of a second faster than Ben. Those are the only two of our Category 1 times that we've had. In the historics, Chris Meeke 5.2 seconds faster than Dean Buist. Derek Asen, the third fastest of the historics through there. Timmy Smith with a really strong time just in behind Dean Buist. So a little bit of time lost there for Ari Pettigrew, to be fair. In fact, I say that he lost 40 seconds in 12 kilometres, so possibly an issue for the third place runner in the Otago Classic Rally.
Well, it's an exciting first couple of stages. We've seen quite a few. Well, we've only seen one lead change. Well, no, sorry, we haven't seen a lead change
We
yet.
haven't seen a lead change.
But I tell you what, it's tight at the top. There was a bit all over the show, wasn't it?
Andy White hanging on to
There's
it.
a little Mirage.
Yeah.
That's another great little car too, the Mirage.
Yeah.
You know, Mitsubishi stable.
You did a fair bit of work in those as an instructor at Rally Drive NZ.
Rally Drive New Zealand, yep. Young Dale will appreciate that. And of course, Rally Drive New Zealand now gone to new owners, and they been out there a couple of times. They run a great day.
I learned a lot and then forgot it all.
Yeah, well, we all do. Simon, of course, I think he ended up owning parts of the Mirage that Dale used to own.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyway, back to it. Like, we've got a lot of changes I think are going to take place this afternoon. So we've got a really exciting rally in the making. Not too sure he's going to come out on top. Ben's looking like he's charging pretty
faster than Ben Hunt.
We still haven't got Jack through, obviously, but it's so close at the top, and they're trading times. That's what I love. Makes for an exciting rally.
Exactly right. Not one person has yet stuck their hand up and said, "This is mine for sure."
Yeah, no, Hayden Paddon normally dominant out the front, and we did say this a little bit last night. We were talking about obviously planning what we are going to say for our live stream, and we were saying that there could be 3 or 4 people in the hunt for that first place, and it's great to see that happening.
As we see a little Corolla of Jamie Donaghy, and this now should be Murray Christopherson, but it's not. No.
Hard to tell, isn't it?
I reserve judgment. No, I think that looks a lot like an Evo.
An Evo 2,
Evo 3, Nigel King. Great to see a couple of cars getting back, because there's been a little bit of a trick, like Berwick Forest. What a tricky way to start, not just the day, not just the rally, but the season. You know, like, man, are you awake?
I know, crazy stuff. Question on our live stream: can I explain an apex? Yeah, I'm probably the worst person in the world to explain the apex, but it's basically the furthest point of the corner that you can't see when you're approaching it. So that's the apex now. It's the middle of the corner. Sometimes corners have 2 apexes. I could maybe get into that in a bit more detail in our next cross, but the apex is
basically it's the furthest inside point of the corner, isn't it?
Yeah, that you can just see. That's pretty much what we call the apex.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's a few of them.
Sometimes there are. Sometimes there's not many of them, Dylan.
Well, I tend to miss them quite often. Just had some news through. Emma second in stage 4, so Emma's back in that mix as well, and we knew she would be.
A case of what might have been. I mean, she's a minute 27 off Ben.
Yes, down a bit. That's going to be hard to reel that in as well. But
yeah, next target for her was Kingsley Jones.
Right.
With a stage time like that, you'd suspect.
Want some updates, obviously, because it's pretty exciting. It's going to end up.
Yeah, Josh Marston. Stokes fastest in the stage by 0.6 of a second. So that
unbelievable. So Jack continuing.
Yeah, and he's basically claimed back all that and more.
What he lost,
over Ben Hunt. So
fantastic, Jack. I mean, great driving, mate. And all I'm hoping now is that little AP4 is nice and reliable.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I mean, they've had a few problems over the years, and I just hope and pray for Jack that it's nice and reliable.
Absolutely. So we just see our last car on the start line now. This should be Kevin Brocky in the Toyota Vitz. So really hope you've enjoyed the coverage here from the Central Machine Hire Otago Rally. Of course, the opening round of the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship. But there was no one on the start line, so yeah, hope you've enjoyed that coverage.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us, and of course we are going live again this afternoon.
Yes, special stage number 6.
We will be in the same spot, but we'll try and bring you a couple of extra different shots from our drone, I'm sure. Look at those beautiful drones.
Yeah.
Now that is Central Otago roads.
That is just Central Otago, and of course, massive thanks, Brian Green Property Group, MRF Tyres,
great tyres,
Omega Rental Cars, Cream Insurance. Hope you've really enjoyed the live stream, ladies and gentlemen. We'll sign off from here. Thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Let's do it again this afternoon.
See you soon.